Luck trying to do all the damage. Moncrief is a very solid young receiver, but Luck is coming off a bad shoulder injury. He might not even play week 1. So the question mark for the Colts is, should they trade Andrew Luck? I think they should. They're wasting his career, and honestly, Jim Irsay doesn't get it. He's not Peyton Manning. He'll never be Peyton Manning. But Luck alone literally makes the Colts, is literally making the Colts in the conversation for this division. Without Luck, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that the Colts would be 1, maybe 2 win type team. They're not good. They're terrible defensively. Their run game is meh. And like I said, they've lost quite a few talented players on offense, starting with Dwayne Allen, who's a very good tight end, and a very reliable tight end. He went to the Patriots. So the Patriots got stronger, and the Colts are weaker. The Texans are better. The Titans are better. And I think it's Houston and Tennessee, and I think Jacksonville and Indianapolis are going to be fighting for the scraps of this division. Jacksonville had every opportunity to move on from Blake Bortles, but new front office man, GM, President Tom Coughlin said that Blake Bortles is their guy, and as long as Bortles is their guy, they're not even in the conversation for this division. I don't think they needed Fournette. I think Yeldon is a star in the making, that they never gave him that shot, and they never really built their offensive line. Let's keep in mind that Tennessee built their offensive line because they understand they play in the same division as Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, and that bad boy linebacking crew of the Houston Texans. So they want to protect their quarterback. Well, the Jaguars have done the complete opposite. They've got Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns. Those are 2 stud receivers. That's a good receiving combination right there. Any other quarterback, not named Blake Bortles, will probably make the Jacksonville Jaguars a very explosive offense and a very, very good football team. They're trying to mask Bortles' flaws by adding a running back, but here's the thing. The Houston Texans have taken 2 running backs from LSU these past couple of years, and they haven't turned into anything more than below average. So what do I think of Leonard Fournette? He's much like the typical LSU back. He's powerful. He doesn't possess great speed. He's not a patient. He's not really a patient runner. That's the thing with LSU backs. They try to hit the hole, and when they don't, they try to run through walls. Well, guess what? That might work in college, but this is a different ball game in the NFL. I don't think Fournette is going to turn out to be anything more than a bust. And this is the same Jaguars team that could have took Deshaun Watson. They could have took Patrick Mahomes. They could have given up on Blake Bortles, and they should have. The guy is not mentally strong enough to be a franchise quarterback. Like I said, I think Jacksonville has a very solid defense. I think they overpaid for AJ Bouye because I think what people don't understand is Bouye did not play well until his contract year. And this is what bad teams do. They overpay for free agents because they have one good season in the contract year and they think they're going to turn out great. Well, I hate to tell you all this, but Patrick Ramsey's a shutdown corner. I think I've mispronounced his first name. Anyways, Ramsey's a good. They've got a very good young corner in Ramsey. They needed somebody next to him, but I don't think that guy is Bouye. I think Bouye was great last year for the Texans, but again, it wasn't until his contract year. And Houston was not willing to pay the price tag, and Jacksonville was. So, that being said, I think Houston made the right decision. Of course, the proof is in the pudding. We'll see what it's like on the field. But Houston's weaker in the secondary. Jacksonville isn't that much stronger. Jacksonville does have a solid defense. Like I said, they got Yeldon, who I think is a better running back than Fournette. I think Bortles is terrible of a quarterback. And I think Jacksonville, yet again, like I said, they haven't won more than 6 games in 7 years. People think they're going to take this division. I'll buy it when I see it. Doug Marrone's a good coach. He did very well in Buffalo. He got 7-8 wins out of that team. It's very possible he gets maybe 5 or 6 wins out of this Jaguars team. Who knows? But they've been in the top 5 of the draft for the last 6 years, and they haven't done anything with it. So, and like I said, they're in the same division as the Texans and the Titans, who I think are far more superior than than the Jacksonville Jaguars. So basically, what do I think? I think Houston's going to win this division because of their defense and their run game. But I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee, if Mariota's healthy, I think Mariota, depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson in Houston, I think Mariota and Tennessee could take it easily. I really do. I think it's going to come down to the tie-breaking matchups between the Texans and the Titans. So, and I think the Colts have finished third with an 8-8, 9-7 type team, 9-7 type record. And they do have a soft schedule, but you have to remember that everybody almost plays the same type of schedule. I mean, the Texans will play the NFC West and the AFC North. So it's really where the schedule lines up through the teams. Obviously, the Texans will play the Patriots and the Chiefs. They play. The goal for the Texans' bottom line is to beat the Patriots. It's bottom line. Their defense is healthy for now. Like I said, everybody talks about strength of schedule. Schedule's almost the same when you look at it. Minus a couple of teams. I think Houston still plays the Chiefs. I'll have to look at their schedule again to double check on that. But Houston does play New England. They do play the AFC North. They got the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have TJ Watt coming to Houston to play JJ Watt around Christmas weekend. So that'll be fun. I think Houston will take this division. I think they'll finally win 10 games in the Bill O'Brien era. Bill O'Brien has a huge chip on his shoulder now. He has a lot more. There's a lot more pressure on him now. He's got to do more. He's got to get his offense to match the defense, because really, Cornell and Vrabel have made Houston's defense essentially a juggernaut. But an offensive mind like Bill O'Brien has not really done much with the offense. And you could say, well, it's because of the quarterback. He's had a say in some of these quarterbacks: Hoyer, Fitzpatrick, Yates, Keenum, Savage, Whedon. I mean, some of these guys are his picks, signings. Like, some of these guys are his decisions. And Mallett. It's time for the Texans to finally get that franchise quarterback and start heading in the right direction. Houston is essentially, in my opinion, a quarterback away from being a legit, consistent Super Bowl threat. But right now, they're just a playoff team. And I think Tennessee, I like what Tennessee's doing. They're quietly under the radar as a team that could compete with some of the bigger type teams like New England and Green Bay and Pittsburgh and all that, and Oakland. Vegas. Soon to be Vegas. So I like what Tennessee's doing. Jacksonville, Blake Bortles is awful. He's a mediocre quarterback at best. And realistically, people give the Texans grief for taking Clowney over Mack. The Jaguars could have took Mack, but they chose Bortles. And then they could have took Derek Carr, but they chose not to. So they could have had the same draft as the Raiders, just like the Houston Texans could have. So really, like I said, bad teams make bad decisions. We'll see how Tom Coughlin does as a front office guy. But right now, I'm not buying the Jacksonville Jaguars as a playoff team until they win more than 6 games for 2 years, but at least 2 years in a row. Let's see if they can get off the ground before they got to learn to crawl before they can walk.